Hi, and welcome back to Authentically ADHD. I am your host, Carmen. I'm a late diagnosed ADHDer, an early childhood special educator, and a certified life and performance coach. I created this podcast to help as many ADHDers as I could to learn about your specific ADHD. I know that when I was late diagnosed, I was sent out the door with meds and no help. We have to do a lot of this work on our own, but if we join together in community, we can live more authentically and with more joy in our lives. Are you ready? Let's get started. Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Authentically ADHD. I cannot wait for you to listen to this amazing interview that I have with my client, Robbie. He is an amazing, amazing person who has shown so much growth in the last 6 months. I can't wait for you to dive in to this conversation about identity, self-worth, work-life balance, burnout, all the things, all the things. I am just so excited. So stay tuned and let's get ready for a conversation between me and my client, Robert. Here we go. Hi, Robert, and welcome to Authentically ADHD. I'm so glad that you are here on the podcast today.
Thanks, Carmen. I'm very happy to be here.
How are ya? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's a Saturday. The weather's been turning a little bit, so we're inching towards spring, which has me excited. It's March 1st, so I also kind
It's
of have
been
an
really warm.
yeah, yep,
I love that. Like the sun coming back out, like it's like brings me back to life. I absolutely love it. Um, so let's start with that self confidence and self worth. Those things that could be like really rough for anybody, but like those of us that navigate anxiety, depression, ADHD, mental health challenges. So, how about like we start where you take us back to where you kind of started in this area?
yeah. I remember in one of the first workbooks you gave me, it had a question about if you strip away all the titles, how would you identify? What is your identity? And it was just a super hard question for me to answer. You know, if I'm not a husband, if I'm not a manager, if I'm not a dog dad, like, what am I? And we were able to get there through coaching and journaling and really reverse engineer it, right? So think about all the qualities that you have with the titles, and then you can
Yeah, like
strip
where were
this,
your strongest things at?
right? So, like, I'm a kind and compassionate husband, I'm a patient boss, I'm a loving dog dad. So, I'm loving, I'm patient, I'm kind. Those are kind of the identity points if you take away the titles.
I absolutely love how you came away from that because I remember you bringing it up the first time, and I was like, yeah, that work is like a little bit deeper. And you were like, yeah, I thought it would be like easier. Like a lot of people think that where they're like, yeah, I know my identity. Like I'm a teacher, but it's like, I'm not just a teacher, right? Like I'm like so many other things. Like if you put me in any situation, like I'm a helper. That's what I tend to do. Like when I'm in any situation. Um, so there was also like struggles with perception of yourself back then too. Like having to do with work, things were like changing with your work life, and we talked about burnout a lot.
Yeah. Yep.
So, what would you say was like your some of your biggest takeaways from those conversations? Like, where were you then? Like, and how are you like here now?
Yeah. I was transitioning in work. I had just been taking on a new role, a leadership role. Prior to that, I was an individual contributor, and I actually had to do both jobs for um, about 3 months. And I mean, talk about a burnout nightmare. So I had to just be super, super conscious of taking care of myself and scheduling time for self-care, and vacation and unplugging and depending on capacity, could I afford more time to, exercise, move my body, or did I need to just like lay in bed for that day and drink a bunch of tea and feel warm and cozy? Just had to be hyper aware. And that's again too where journaling really, really helped me to do that. I think the more chaotic my life was, the more journaling helped me to regulate my emotions and stay present and focused and on track. So back then it was a daily struggle and it was really hard. Um, and now I'm I'm more in like a flow versus an ebb with my work life. I'm there and it still has its challenges, but I'm showing up every day and I'm present every day and I'm doing the kind of work that I want to do with the team, which is, developing them um, with work and personal, honestly. So I'll pause there.
Yeah, I loved how you did that, how you took a lot of the things we were learning and that you were learning actually. I mean, we were both learning. I always learn when I coach too. But the fact that you went and then applied that at work to like really help you with that leadership role was so, so impressive to me. And this is why I feel like coaching is super beneficial, especially to those who have been to therapy, who have done some of the work, but who are kind of like at a plateau. I mean, would you say like that's kind of where you were? Like you were kind of at a plateau where you're like, I don't necessarily really feel like I need therapy right now, but I want to get better. Like, and this avenue was something, I mean, I remember you saying that you were interested in. Um, but I want to go back to the burnout really quick because I
Yeah.
want you to reenact the reaction that you had when I told you that there were 7 types of rest.
Um, I mean, keep me honest. I don't know if I remember the reaction, but I
That's so authentically ADHD. I can't.
but I feel like I was like shocked and like excited all at the
You
same
asked me,
time.
I
And
remember one part of it. You did ask me to repeat. You were like, "Did you just say 7?" And I was like, "Yeah." And you were like, "Okay, I think I thought you said 11, but even 7, oh my God." Like the way that you responded was like, 7. Like, did you say 7?
I feel like I asked a million questions. Like I had to know about all of them. I had to figure out every category and how I could apply it. Just
Well, and
seemed
that's usually what we
super
do.
helpful. Yeah, 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 yeah,
We
definitely.
like jump all in. Like we find something new that we're like, oh my God, this could really help me. And then we like jump all the way in. Like I find myself doing that a lot, especially with like books I read or podcasts I listen to. Like I find myself going all the way in, like just researching the author, their podcast, like all the things that they believe in, all the things. It's just, it's insanity. So, can you talk about like how you have incorporated those different types of rest, like, sensory rest, how you learn about like spiritual rest and like learning about the cues of your body for like physical rest? Like, how is that helping you like now?
Yeah, definitely. So, I think I'll start with physical, just because I think that's traditionally what people think about when they think about rest.
You're
And
absolutely right.
I think that's all I thought that rest was as well, before this. So,
People are like, oh, sleep. Yeah, I do that.
yep, sleep. Um, But there's also, like active physical rest. And same thing, I feel like you're better with the rest categories than I am. So keep me honest if I am not on the right rest for what I'm describing. But like, I think of like an active physical rest. It could be walking. I walk my dogs, and um, it doesn't feel like work. It's very much relaxing to me. Yoga as well is a really big one for that. Um, Sensory, putting the phone away, putting it in another room. Um, Also, just things with yeah, I guess that affect your senses. So like light, I'm really sensitive to. So taking
Oh, the big
dark.
light.
hmm
Ew.
Taking dark showers, like have the lights off and just the water running, and that
Yes.
does something to me, like mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It's like it just resonates, and it is such a good, warm, fuzzy feeling that I don't really get anywhere else. And it's so easy. You just turn the light off.
Yeah, like it's like one change to like the same routine. It's like just turn the light off, but do the same thing.
Yep. I think spiritual rest. I actually have this little box, and it says on it, "Give it to God." And inside, you open the box. It's just a little piece of like notebook paper and a pencil, and you just write in a prayer each day, and um, and you put it in the box, and it's with God.
I love
Um,
that.
yeah, mine almost always says to help me with something. So today's I'll read. It's help me enjoy the podcast. Forget that I'm being recorded.
That's amazing. And that's the way to approach it too. Like this is a conversation that so many people will benefit from that, you just tell your brain we are not being recorded right now.
Yeah,
That
because
leads
it's
right
normal.
into
We're
too,
just on a call.
exactly, right? Like we're just on a call like we normally are. And then so like oh my gosh, I love the things that you described, but I have it written down here too. I do want to touch on the fact this is an ADHD podcast, and when you started with me, you were not under any impression that you had ADHD, correct?
That's correct.
Can you talk about a little bit about kind of how that's developed from anxiety kind of to here to where we are?
Yeah. Yeah. So, anxiety, depression, insomnia, panic disorder. I think those were all of the mental health diagnosis that I had had up into, that point of meeting you. And um, what was interesting is that I was really like hitting a wall with the work stuff. Like I needed to operate at a more productive level, and I couldn't get over the wall, and I couldn't figure out why. Um, and it was really not being on the right medication for ADHD. Um, so come to find out, as I'm working with you, um, again, coaching, journaling, that a lot of what I thought were anxiety symptoms turned out to be ADHD symptoms. Like I thought I would get anxiety paralysis, and really it was more ADHD paralysis because I couldn't prioritize a list of things to do. I couldn't focus enough to break things down to get through them. And then it was so overwhelming that I would just spiral my, I would just give up, you know? I would freeze. So, um,
And doctors, sorry to interrupt, doctors
yeah,
usually view that type of description if you don't say, like, I was overwhelmed by the tasks. Like, if you just say, like my to do list overwhelmed me and then I shut down, like, or I had a panic attack or whatever, they automatically, without question, go right to anxiety because sometimes they're not getting that underneath of what caused. Like, yes, there's anxiety there, right? Like, there is a ton of anxiety with paralysis. It's just what caused that paralysis, right? It was looking at the list
hmm
and it wasn't, oh my God, there's so much on there that gives me anxiety. It was, I can't prioritize it. I don't know what to do first. There is
Yep.
so much, and I don't know what to do first, right? So I
Yeah.
love the way that you described that. So,
Yeah.
anyways, keep going.
Yeah. So, as we kind of started figuring out that, this seems more like ADHD. At the time, I didn't feel the need to get like a formal diagnosis as long as I could still get, the medicine that I needed to function the way I needed to function. And I am very fortunate. I have a great general practitioner, and so I made an appointment and I talked him through everything. And um, he did what a good general protection practitioner does, which is he told me if I wanted the diagnosis and if I wanted medication like stimulants, I would need to go through a psychiatrist. Um, However, he was able to offer me an option that was not a stimulant. It was an SNRI, venlafaxine, and it's often used to help people manage their ADHD symptoms. So I said, great, let's try that. And night and day, night and day. I have never
Right.
functioned so well in my life, and it's just like the focus is there, and it's not even work. It's not even just the work stuff. It's like the personal stuff. It's the chores. It's the getting the house clean. It's caring for the animals, caring for myself, like my appointments, my health. Everything has just elevated since I changed one medication.
Let's get into that last part that you talked about because I love how you said it's not just work. Because most of the time, like me, or like a lot of people's stories, it happens first with work, where people are like, oh my gosh, I can't handle all this work. I need to go get checked out type
Yeah,
of thing. But it's also about like improving your quality of life. Pills don't teach skills. So
yeah.
the medication change was great, but then there was all these strategies that you use too to improve that quality of life. So talk a little bit more about that because that is something I really want to hone in on.
Yeah, so the strategies, I think, like to dive into the journaling a little bit more because I know I've said it a few times, but
Yeah, really explain it to my listeners
yeah,
because they roll their eyes when I talk about journaling.
yep, yep. So I've actually got mine out. I'm looking at it.
I love it.
So planning really, really helps me. Like I need to plan things out. I gotta go back to that saying, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So.
And
I
let me
plan out
just
my
interject and ask you a
yeah.
question. Do you like planning? Like
Now I
in
do.
general, is it like it's an
Yeah.
activity now that you've made
It's
yourself kind of look
therapeutic now.
forward to?
Yeah,
Okay, I
it's
really
therapeutic
love
now.
that. So
It
it
it was
can be
work at
something we
first though.
enjoy.
Yeah, it
Yes,
was work at
yes.
first though. And you're gonna laugh at this because I'm like a 4-year-old child with this, but um, something that really helps me enjoy my journaling and make it therapeutic is I have all these Pokemon stickers because I still love Pokemon.
Okay, wait,
And
stop. Wait, stop. I don't have Pokemon stickers. Mine are flowery, but I literally ordered them. Like they're like journal stickers. They have words on them and decorative, like little, like to do, like don't forget, and like dates, and like there's a bunch of them. It's like so many, but no
yeah,
stickers. Stickers are dopamine, man. Stickers are
they are.
dopamine.
They are. And if you're a
Anyways, as we get
journaler,
distracted.
so yes, I plan out my week. I've got three like daily focus that I try to do. So like this coming week, I've actually already done the planning for. So like my focuses are yoga, training my new dog Yoshi, and helping a coworker at work.
Love
Um,
that.
yeah, and
How is
then
that training going, by the way?
it's going good. Yeah. Yeah, we're doing the click training. So, because he gets very I think my dog might have ADHD because
They usually take after us.
yeah, gets very distracted outside and barks at everything and everybody.
And
And
then like
so,
forgets that he has to go pee. Like how relatable.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, with the click training, you click the little, it's like a little button, it makes a sound, and you give him a little snack, and he learns that, that will distract him from whatever he's barking at. And then over time, you're supposed to be able to take out the snack, take out the click, and with saying the command, every time you're doing the click, you're supposed to be able to get down to just the command. So we're working
I
through it.
love it.
I forget what we were talking about though.
Well, we started with journaling.
Oh yeah,
It
I
was
was
kind of just
taking you
asking you like
through.
quality of life type stuff too. Like I love how you were talking about like just this act of planning and you do it once a week and it's
Yeah,
therapeutic now. Like at first it's work. Like it's not always just like rainbows and sunshine. This is easy. I love it. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I don't want to journal, but like
yep,
it's a habit like ingrained in me now. Like if I don't write stuff down, I'm gonna like blow up on somebody. But
yep.
like I love that it's a habit because it's so beneficial. So if you were still going through the your little routine, I want you to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, so then I do each day, and then I just write down different things that I have planned for that day. So it'll be work and personal. And then I always leave room on each day so I can add things as the week progresses. And then I've got a couple other things that I do weekly. So I've got a daily blessings tracker where I just record like blessings throughout the day. And then I also have a 3 daily wins tracker. So I do for each day a physical win, a mental win, and a spiritual win.
I love your little categories too. Oh my goodness. I definitely
Gotta
get
have
to
categories.
relate.
It needs to be organized. There needs to be
Oh, and
structure.
see, and now here is the spectrum, my friends, of ADHD. Robert is an organized, anxious ADHDer. I am a type B, try to keep crap organized, shove it in the drawer type ADHDer, okay?
Well, if
I'm
you
not
ask my
necessarily anxious,
husband,
but
he will not tell you that I am organized. But my journal has some, yeah, organization to it.
that just goes to show too how we can be organized in one part of our life. Like I am super organized when it comes to like this podcast specifically. But if you
Yep.
go into my Google Drive, people wouldn't be able to find their way through that. Oh my God. Like no
That's
way. Or my
chaos, but your
makeup
output
drawer.
into the world for the podcast is refined.
Yes, it's very refined. It's very organized. Even hey there. If you're looking for a game changer in managing your ADHD, let me tell you about something that's made a huge impact on my life. Focused, the adult ADHD group coaching program by Kristen Carter. This isn't just another program, it's a community, it's a roadmap, it's a lifeline for adults with ADHD who want to thrive. Inside of Focus, you'll find weekly coaching calls with Kristen packed with actionable insights, a supportive community of adults who get it. They get what it's like to live with ADHD. You'll get tools and strategies that actually work for our brains. No fluff, just real results. I've been a part of Focused for over a year, and let me tell you, it's where I've learned so much of what I share with you on Authentically ADHD. It's been a game changer for me, and I think it could be for you too. And here's the best part. If you use my link to join, we both save money. It's a win-win. So if you've been looking for the right ADHD support, this is your sign to check it out. Head to the link in my show notes to learn more and sign up. Let's thrive together with tools and support that we need to succeed. Are you also loving what we're doing on Authentically ADHD but want to take your experience to the next level? Well, I have got something for you. Introducing the Authentically ADHD Patreon, your VIP pass to the ultimate ADHD support hub. As a Patreon member, you'll unlock exclusive perks like early access to every single episode, hear it before anyone else does, a treasure trove of resources that I've made, tools, guides, and worksheets to help you thrive in everyday aspects of life, direct coaching opportunities with me designed to help you harness your ADHD powers, and the cherry on top, an incredible community of like-minded individuals who just get it. You're not alone on this journey, and together we can be unstoppable. By joining Patreon, you're not just supporting the podcast, you're fueling a movement. Together, we're breaking stigmas, embracing authenticity, and creating a world where ADHD is seen as a strength and not just a struggle. So what are you waiting for? Head over to patreon.com/authenticallyADHD and join the family today. Let's keep growing, thriving, and showing up authentically together. Hope to see you over there. Back to the show. All right, so I love that take on journaling. And something that I know that we both struggled with when we first started coaching, which was like about 6 months ago. So what did that look like for you early on and then up to here, kind of like within that journaling and all the things like the strategies that you were using?
Look like for me, I don't know if I understood the question.
Like, because you're talking about how you do that planning, right, for
Yep.
personal and for work. So how do you
Yep.
like kind of keep that balance?
Oh, yes. Yes. So, um, it's funny because it's evolved over time. Initially, I do feel like I was leaning more towards the work than the life in the balance. Which the funny part there too is if you think about it, why is the word work first?
My
You
God, I've
know?
never thought about that before.
hmm
Why isn't it
Why
life
isn't
work
it life work
balance?
balance? Yep.
Jinx. Oh my gosh, you owe me a Coke. I loved saying that in the 90s. Oh my God, can we go back? Anyways, don't get distracted. But yes, like it's so hard. And I know my listeners are relating to you right now. So if you tell them about kind of like that evolution, that what that kind
Yep.
of looked like.
Yep. Because I was working on the weekend a lot. I was working late nights a lot. And something that I realized that was such an easy switch was that I didn't have to plan out my week and my work calendar on Saturdays like I was, or on Sundays like I was. I was like, why am I not just doing this on Fridays while I'm at work? Because it's for work. And so what I did to accommodate that was I moved meetings that I had every Friday throughout the week. So some went to Wednesday, some went to Thursday, and it opened up my Friday to give me the space to plan through journaling. And that gave me my evening, it gave me my weekend back, and gave me more of a work-life balance. Life work balance.
Which I absolutely love because it's something that I learned teaching is that there is a specific environment that I need to be in to do data or to like write my lesson plan or to do my podcast. Like there's different tools that I need in different places to refer to. And if you're writing a plan for work, like, and you have a lot of your resources like calendars and other things at work, then the best environment to plan would probably
Is
be,
that
and I
work?
sound repetitive here, is at
Yeah,
work. Yeah.
yeah.
And I love that you did that. And then it was going really well. It was doing awesome. And then do you want to tell that funny story about what happened with the Fridays, like, I don't know, a week or two
Oh
ago?
yeah, yeah. And that's why, you're never going to get to a place where everything is just perfect and smooth. Like it's constant work. You're always having to
Yes.
readjust and reevaluate.
Happiness is
So,
not a destination. This is life's
mhm,
work, but we can improve our quality of life, even though we aren't meeting a destination. But you can't graduate life.
correct. Yeah. So with Fridays being wide open, all these different meetings were changing and, out of my control, but it made me have to change my meetings. And I kept moving things back to Friday because Friday was available.
It was wide open.
It was wide open. And yeah, about 2 weeks ago, I had a Friday where I was literally in back-to-back meetings from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And on our coaching session, I remember, I think you had literally said to me, "So, what are you going to do about that?"
Yes, because I was like, okay, so like you made these Fridays all the way open, and now we're at a point where you have like pushed and pushed and pushed, and now Friday's full again. So we have to fix it because otherwise you're going to lose your weekends and your evenings.
Yep. Yep. So, again, yeah, was able to address that and change some meetings around. And I'm just hoping and praying now, we're in March of 2025. So please let these standing meetings be what they're going to be for the year. Hopefully I'm good, but we'll see as it comes.
Well, and the key to that too is that you're self aware about it. So when scheduling now, you can kind of note down and be more aware of, okay, how many did I push to Friday? Like you could still push them to Friday, but like not all of them. Like we're not going to push them
Right.
all, right, to Friday. So
Yep.
I love that take on it as well. That you have about just making sure that that Friday has time for you to be able to do what you need to do in order to be, the best boss that next week. And like keeping that personal life personal and trying to keep that work and life separate. Um, so now we did talk a little bit about work. So I want to talk about personal life now, like digging into that good stuff,
Yeah.
social stigma, vulnerability, relationships.
Yep.
Um, Relationships are a cornerstone of our lives. Like you and I met in high school
Yep.
and we were great friends. We never had like a fallout. We both had undiagnosed ADHD and kind of just like forgot about the other one, like friendships kind of just go by the wayside. And it just, that's one of the things I think we deal with as people who are neurodiverse on
Yeah.
this spectrum of life. And then, I feel like it was so meant to be that we came
We came
together
back
again.
together. Yeah.
Um, but I do have in big letters here about people pleasing because I do remember in the
Hmm.
beginning of the call, in the beginning of the calls, in the beginning of our sessions, you were a very big, and not just like at work, but like in all your relationships, like towards
Yes.
your husband, towards your mom, like all the things. So, like,
Yes.
let's hear a little bit about, kind of where you started with those relationships and what were your challenges and kind of how did you overcome some of those things.
I mean, I think about boundaries right away with all of that. I needed to start writing them down and knowing like if this is what I believe, like then and this is what feels good and authentic to me, then this is just where I need to stay with it. Um, so like something with myself that I've realized is, not every relationship is benefiting if I'm like drinking with certain people. Um, some people, we're on the same page. We're trying to have fun, and we can have a good time with it. But other people, it causes issues that wouldn't be caused if we were just sober. So I actually have a boundary with some people now that I just don't drink with them because I've realized it's not healthy for our working relationship. So um that's one. Um, Let's
And I
see.
love that one. And if you want to clarify for the audience, you didn't like start doing sober life, you just started being more cognizant of your alcohol intake.
Correct. Yeah.
I love that.
Yep. Yep. And now I'm actually at the point where I'm only drinking if I don't work the next day, because I've also realized that's another boundary I have for myself, that I don't show up the way that I want to show up to work if I'm had drank the night before. But sorry, we're supposed to be talking about personal. So
Well, this is personal. This is
yeah.
personal because it's something that um like okay, I just want to like hit on a statistic right here that there are, if you're not diagnosed and treated by age 12, there's studies out there that you are then 3 times to 4 times as likely when you have ADHD to develop some type of addiction or reliant behavior on a substance to help you feel better, because we're not taught emotional regulation or any of those tools, self regulation, self awareness, to be able to cope with them. So we lean towards the things that media tells us helps. Here, drink this. Here, smoke that. It'll make you feel better. So we tend to lean towards that. And then sometimes we get stuck.
Yep.
But the fact that you kind of pulled yourself out of there and you were like, hey, like, because alcohol really does affect the ADHD brain, especially when you are kind of in it. I mean, actually, it really affects all the types in all different ways, but because it's not great for our brains, it obviously, yeah, it doesn't make us feel great the next day. I personally have like an allergy to it, so it doesn't make me feel good like almost any of the time. Like I
Yeah.
socially maybe have a drink once every couple months because I don't really like it. But I do socially drink, but I don't really. I think I went the whole month of January without drinking. I didn't even realize it. So, but anyways, so that improved some of your relationships. And I love that you are including this within your boundaries, because that's a boundary in itself.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I think another one is, you had mentioned I'm married, and I've come to find out that not everybody is a safe person to confide in, when it comes to your marriage. Your marriage really is like something sacred and something super personal. And I found myself oversharing a lot, and to really
I
like
tend to
my,
do.
yeah, and really to my own detriment. And you know what? A lot of it was nobody else's business. So I've really become just like super intentional about what I share with who, because you know what? At the end of the day, like, it's not their marriage, it's mine, and I get to do it the way that I want to do it, and I don't need to include them in any of that.
Oh my God, that was such a good sound bite. Oh, definitely using that for a sound bite. That's amazing. I love what you just said.
I don't even know
Anyways,
what a soundbite is, but
it it's like a sound grab. Like it's a good thing to get people hooked in to come listen to
mm,
us talk because of what
perfect.
you just said. Could you go into a little bit more about what a safe person is? Because I do go into this
Mm,
sometimes, but
yeah.
from your perspective.
Yeah, from my perspective, a safe person would be someone that you can share information with and confide in, that does not make you feel judged, will not hold things against you. Um, I think those are the two biggest parts, honestly.
Yeah.
And maybe like a place of forgiveness, like not make you feel shamed, right? Like if it's something, let's say, that I am ashamed about and it's hard for me to share already, like they should be doing everything in their power to make me feel okay in that moment.
Yes. And if they don't know what to do, they should ask.
Yes.
And that's like really that hones in like what a safe person is that basically you can take off the mask and feel safe to do so. That somebody's not going to dismiss your feelings or tell you that you are crazy or tell you that you're overreacting or being dramatic. That is a safe person, is somebody who's willing to listen and approach it with curiosity instead of criticism, And I think that you have gone about that so gracefully. And we have talked about too, that it's lonely sometimes.
Yeah,
It can get lonely.
it feels really lonely, honestly. In this whole journey since coaching, it's kind of been like a 180. Like I found myself being more distant with the people that were closer because of the boundaries. But outside of that lonely feeling, everything else feels better. So I know I'm still moving in the right direction. I just need to get, through those feelings. Like it's okay to feel negative feelings. You have uh, to
Yes.
get better.
Yeah, for
But what's
sure. And we
cool,
don't like those.
yeah, but the flip side of the coin is that I have these newer relationships that have been blossoming in ways that I never would have imagined. Like I consider you one of my closest friends right now, and we don't even hang out in person.
I love that too.
How
Like
cool is
that
that,
is
though?
it's a very cool thing because I mean, I've met people online before and I won't go into how toxic that can be, but when you
Right,
know somebody, like we knew each other in high school, we grew up during the internet era. So when we
right.
reconnected on the internet, we both knew that the other person was trustworthy. And now
Yep.
we've gotten back to this great friendship, which I absolutely love and consider you one of my best friends. Like,
Uh,
I go to you for things like we don't just have like a coach client relationship. We're also
right.
friends,
We do
like, which
both.
is why this sounds like a chat, my friends, which is what our interviews always sound like. But yeah, so I'm distracted now, damn it.
We're talking about personal relationships and
Oh, yes.
I've so you were one example of one that's really blossomed. And then it's kind of funny, back to the alcohol thing, like on the weekends, like we have it's been some of more people I know, like through my husband's circle, but I've gotten some really good friends over there where like if we're at these parties, like I have a couple people that like if for example, one is his name's Brian. I love Brian. But we only, oh, sorry, watching my dog, and she's freaking out.
We are puppy friendly on this podcast.
1 second. I'm gonna walk it.
So, friends, this is a
Friends.
great time for me to tell you that your working memory sucks. So, head up to the follow button if you like what you're hearing and follow the podcast. And while you're up there, give it a rating to push us out to everybody. Okay. I'm going to give you a second to do that. We'll be right here waiting when you get back.
Are you ready for me again?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Okay. So, yeah, Brian. He's like if he's at the party, like that's who I want to spend my time with. I want to talk to him. Like we connect. But that's the only time that I see Brian is at these parties. But it doesn't matter. What matters is that when we're together, we're having a good time.
Yes. Absolutely love that. Like that, period. Like,
Yeah,
mic
period.
drop. Like, I
Mic drop.
love that.
And that's a kind of relationship like that was not like one that I ever had with anybody before. It wasn't my traditional like best friendship. And same thing with you. Like I've never had someone that like I didn't hang out with in person that I considered a best friend. So it's just kind of challenging like the definition of what friendship is and what it can be and what it can look like. And I'm realizing that the more I grow up, the more non-traditional like definitions feel better for me in friendship.
Absolutely. I mean, as I've grown up, I've realized how non traditional I actually am in most relationships. Like, don't want a big wedding, don't want kids. Like, I have very few close friends, and I hang out with a couple of them, but there are a couple that, like you, like I see once in a while. Like, we've been trying to make a lunch date. We will, it'll
We
happen,
will
things
at
like
some
that.
point.
But like relationships are so nuanced nowadays, especially with social media. Like, oh my God. Like the kids nowadays would not be able to handle MySpace. Okay. They would cry about top eights. Are you kidding? We'd have suicides about them, I swear. Now I'm going to put a trigger
Yep.
warning on this. But, anyways, so
Anyways,
as we kind of come to a wrap up here, what is there anything else that like I have left out or anything that you really want to touch on about coaching, anxiety, ADHD, anything?
yeah. So let me look. I had a page that I had wrote down. Uh, So we covered a lot of ground today, honestly. I could share a good story, because it's kind of both personal and work, but with my boss, if you
Oh, we
remember.
love that. Yes.
Yep. And again, probably goes back to people pleasing. Um, I had this idea in my head that she needed to like me for our relationship to work and to be a good relationship. And she's just not the warm and fuzzy type. So, um, it's more about work, but not in a bad way. She's super invested in developing her people, and I'm one of her people now. So, she's going to help lift me up and help me step into my own light at work. Um, but it was this hurdle in my head that I created, and it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't really anything I needed to give life to. Coaching helped me realize that and work through that, because it was an uncomfortable feeling. It wasn't a good feeling. Um, and just to bring it full circle now, so I had given a presentation at work this last week, and my boss really let me run with it. And, after that evening, she actually called me, and I'm like freaking out, sweating bullets. Why is my boss calling me after hours? What
Oh
did I do
God, that
wrong?
feeling.
What did I break?
Yes. What did I
And she
lose? What did I forget? Oh my God, I have secondhand anxiety.
she was literally just calling to tell me that I did a good job.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, I have chills all over my body.
Yeah, it was amazing. And I
What
I
a
I
lovely call.
never would have thought in a million years that that would have happened. And this was only like what, 5 months ago, 6 months ago. And now I'm here with her, and it's just it's evolution, and it's great. So yeah, that was one story I had that I didn't have the opportunity to share. I know we kind of touched on being gay a little bit too. I don't know if you wanted to go into that more or...
I would love to go into that
Yeah.
because
So
men in mental health is rare, and hearing about gay men in mental health is rare, but it is not rare for men or gay men to have challenges with mental health. Take it away.
for real, actually being gay really propelled like the or accelerated my mental health crisis at the time, because I was just constantly in this kind of state of like fear that I could be, you know, mentally, physically, emotionally hurt by other people for not accepting just who I was. It's not a choice. It's just who people are. And
Just like
with that there was...
ADHD, it's not a choice, it's how we're born.
Right. Yep. It's how we're born. And it's just another alienating feeling too. You're not like everybody else. You're different. And it's really crazy. Because I know it slowed me down a lot in like development because I was always hiding part of myself. So probably another reason it was hard for me to connect with my identity when we started this work. Um, and my sister actually, recently we were on a call, and she asked me like how it affected me growing up, and it made me super emotional because my my answer really was that I had just started to scratch the surface of it in therapy. And to think about that, like I was 16 when I came out and I'm 33 now, and I'm just starting to scratch the surface on it.
That's like
So,
double the amount of time.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's just all that to say that being gay definitely has all of its challenges. You taught me the big T, little T. It's a big T trauma. So I learned that, and it's like all this other work. You need to put in the work to it, and you need to work through the icky feelings to get to a better place. So I'm just super excited that I've started that work because I'm only going to get to a better place from working through all that. So,
And I'll definitely have to have you on like in another 6 months because then we can show how much evolution can happen in a year. Because if you guys thought that that was a lot of evolution, that was just about 6 months. Maybe not even. Let's see. Let's count. Can we count? You think we could do it?
it was from
June,
June,
July, August, September, October, November, December. Oh, it's been 8 months.
eight
Eight.
months.
So that's 8 months of growth, y'all. 8 months of growth, folks. So, so I think that that's pretty amazing. I think you're pretty amazing.
I
And
think
I
you're
think you
amazing.
think. I think I'm amazing. And I think you
Oh,
should
I
think that
like
you're
that.
amazing
I
too.
I think I'm amazing. That's my affirmation today.
I love that. Write it down. Everybody write it down. If you're listening right now, write it down. It's your
Write it down.
affirmation for the day. I am amazing. Repeat it 5 times in the mirror and you're going to have a great day. So I just want to thank you so much, Robbie. Not only are you an amazing friend and client, but to take the time out to come on the podcast and share that with everybody means the world to me. So thank you so, so, so much for coming on and chatting with me.
Absolutely, Carmen. I am happy to do it again sometime.
Absolutely. I enjoyed this. It was so much fun.
Thank you.
All right, my friends, you know the drill. We will chat again soon. Hey, my friend, I really hope that you enjoyed that conversation between Robbie and I hope that it helped you. If you believe that it'll help a friend or anybody, maybe on your social media page, please share out the podcast episode. Please give us a rating and do all the things like subscribe, engage. It helps get us pushed out so that you can help me with the goal of our community to reach as many people in the neurodiverse community as possible to show them that it is possible to live an authentically amazing life and thrive instead of fighting every day against our brains. Stay authentic, and we will talk soon.